Narcissist, Ensnared, Episode 16. "Have you had the meeting, then?" asked Ian Wynne. He was sat in his office the day after the drama at Novo Bank. He had stayed the night at Ashley's house. She had introduced him to Sarah, although the nanny did not seem to know who he was, and he concluded that Ashley must not have told her that she was now with somebody else. Wynne wanted to ask many questions of Ashley appertaining to her behaviour and some of the incongruous explanations that she had provided. However, Amelia was also still up and was very pleased to see Wynne. Wynne wanted to talk to Ashley, and he made attempts to suggest that it was time for Amelia to go to bed, but he felt it was almost as if Ashley sensed that he had difficult questions for her, and therefore she made no attempt to send Amelia to bed. Indeed, Amelia wanted to talk to Wynne, and she was allowed to do so for some time. Ashley had sat to one side and watched as he chatted to her daughter, seemingly detached. Eventually, Amelia was put to bed, and then Ashley led him straight to the spare room where they had made love. Wynne found it a strange occurrence as they lay together in the dark, him moving inside her. She kept alternating from making low noises of pleasure, and then suddenly trying to sit up, claiming that Amelia was stood in the doorway watching them. Wynne kept pointing out that the door was closed. That was why it was so dark in the room, and that Amelia was now, no doubt, fast asleep, having been kept up way beyond an appropriate bedtime. No matter how many times, however, that he told Ashley this, after a minute or so of love-making, Ashley would gasp and point towards the door, saying, "She's there." Wynne reassured her each time. He was thankful when she said she'd better go and sleep in her own bed, in case Amelia sought her out during the night. This actually enabled Wynne to have the large spare bed to himself, and exhausted by the evening's events, he was soon asleep. "Yes, Graham came and got me as soon as I had arrived in the building," answered Ashley, following Wynne's question about the meeting. "What did he say?" "He went on about my conduct being unbefitting a senior member of the bank staff, and that the way I had behaved in front of junior members of staff was not acceptable at all." "But I thought they were having a go at you," questioned Wynne. "They did, but they don't like it when you fight back, especially if you're a woman." "I see. So what else did he say?" "Not a lot, really. They know, of course, I resigned last year, and I'm working my notice. They told me that I either leave by Friday, or I'll be suspended." "Well, Combank want you across there as soon as possible, don't they?" "Yes, they do, so in a way this works out well for me," admitted Ashley. "Have you spoken to Combank yet?" "No, I will. I told Graham there and then that I would leave by Friday, so he said he would draw up my departure letter. He also said they were going to take action against you." "Against me? For what? Shaking a door?" "I don't know, but that's what he said." "Bollocks," said Wynne. "I don't work for them. They won't say anything to Euro bankers. They'll seem like twats for mentioning something so petty. No, they won't do anything." "Well, he seemed to think that they would." "I'm relaxed. Well, seems like you have just 3 days left at Novo Bank, then. You'll have to tell the others to have an argument in office. It seems the easiest way of getting out." "I know. I wish I'd thought of it last year." "Did they say anything more about what Peter had been doing, turning up at the bank?" asked Wynne. "Oh, no, but he excelled himself this time," said Ashley. "Why? What has he done now?" "Oh, he had me served with the divorce petition an hour ago. I had to go to reception and meet some process server. He will have arranged that, of course, just to embarrass me." "Probably, although why he thought it would be because nobody would know who the process server was and what the person was delivering. He hardly walks in and shouts that he's got a divorce petition for Ashley Havenia." "Exactly." "So he's decided to get the ball rolling, has he? What ground has he relied on?" asked Wynne. "Adultery." "Am I mentioned as co-respondent?" asked Wynne. "No, he just refers to an other." Interesting. I thought he'd want to rope me in. I guess he doesn't want to admit that someone with a name has slept with me, I suppose. Maybe. Will you deal with it for me? Asked Ashley. Well, you have to. Just send it to Paul, he'll sort it out. He's the lawyer. You can either admit it or not defend it. Either way, it doesn't really matter, does it? Getting the divorce is the main thing. I know, but who does he think he is, divorcing me? I am meant to be divorcing him. Didn't Paul mention something about cross-petitioning? Yes, but what's the point in that? You want a divorce. He's divorcing you. Where's the problem? Yes, but he's the one at fault. I want everyone to know that. I want him to know that it's him that's ruined this marriage, not me. I would concentrate on sorting out the arrangements with the kids and the finances. Let Paul get on with that. That's what you're paying him for. Yes. Mentioning that, would you transfer me some money? Why? Paul has sent me an invoice. £1,000 will cover it. £1,000? He's only seen you once and written a couple of letters. Yes, but I need the money for this house. I'm having to run a 5-bedroom house on just my money. You're not exactly paid a slave wage, Ashley. Besides, Peter should be paying his share. His kids live there. Are you going to help me or not? Demanded Ashley. Fine, but I want it back when you sell the house, said Wynne. Oh, come on, you're loaded. That's not the point, answered Wynne. You know you love helping me. You are my white knight. I am, but that doesn't mean that I'm doling out money left, right, and centre for you, Ashley. You still haven't paid me for that roofer I arranged for you. I mean, I know him, yes, but he was at your house, and you could have paid him, but you told him to sort it out with me. Well, yes, because you know him and I don't, answered Ashley. You don't know the girl on the checkout in Waitrose, do you? But you pay her. No need to have a go at me. Why are you doing this? I'm having a shit day. They're kicking me out early, and that arsehole has served me with a petition. I don't need it. Okay, look, text me your bank details, and I'll send you the money across. Good, so you should. I was thinking about getting a new iPhone. Why? There's nothing wrong with that one. Well, he bought me this one, didn't he? Every time I look at it, I think of him. How is a new iPhone going to change that? Asked Wynne. This one is black. I want you to buy me a white one. Do you now? Yes. I'll think about it. Excellent. Are we seeing one another this evening? Of course. What time will you call around? Asked Wynne. About 5:30. I can't be too late after last night. I think Sarah was a bit annoyed with me, but I talked her round. I've told her how much I need her now that Peter has gone. I might offer her some more money and get that back from Peter as part of my demands in the divorce. I've already started making a list of my expenditure, so I can submit it as a claim for maintenance. Blimey, you haven't wasted any time, said Wynne. I am entitled to it, so he is going to have to pay. I earn far less than him, and will earn even less when I go to Combank. I know I can count on you to support me too, Ian. Well, yes, you know I'll help you, but... Oh, good. When we leave your house, can you come to the petrol station with me, as my car will need filling up, and I'll also need to buy some food. There never seems to be anything in the house to eat. Ask Peter for the money. He's the one that should be paying for this. He won't. He's so tight, it's ridiculous. Tight or not, he has an obligation to pay. I'll help out if he's difficult, but you need to be asking this of him, and you have your own money anyway. All right, I will. I need to get this position walked round to Paul then, and carry on making my expenditure list. I will call you later. Okay, bye. So the divorce proceedings had been launched, and Ashley was being released from Novo Bank. Matters were moving on, and in the right direction. It was the following Monday. Wynne had heard nothing from Novo Bank, and he didn't expect to either. It was an empty threat to take action against him. Ashley and he were set in her car, in the car park of a large DIY outlet. She'd wanted to purchase some additional locks to secure the house, as she felt that the gloves would be coming off soon, now that the divorce was on foot. She had now left Novo Bank, having spent the few days after her outburst at the office organising the terms of her departure. Combank could not have been happier to get her away from Novo Bank, and suggested that she take a week off, just to enable her to unwind a little before starting at Combank at the beginning of February. She had readily agreed and asked Wynne if he would take a week off work so they could do things together. With Amelia in school and Christopher being cared for by Sarah, it was a suggestion that he readily agreed to. It meant that they would be able to have the entire day together. Ashley had already made a list of the things that they could do, and he was delighted to see that she was wanting to spend so much time with him. Every day that passed, he felt that embedded the relationship more and more. They had been listening to a music quiz on one of the national radio channels, and had answered more questions between them than the contestants. Wynne had remarked that they would make a formidable pub quiz team. Ashley was in agreement, and then had returned to the conversation, to talking about her exit from Novo Bank. The exit wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. You see, some of the smaller accounts I'm not really bothered about. They're a bit beneath me, to be honest, so I pretend to be playing fair by saying that they could keep those. In order to keep the Mertz and Northenden accounts, replied Wynne. He was familiar with those two particular clients who were the best clients that Ashley had. She talked about them regularly. Absolutely. That's why I went to Lee's on Saturday to see him and his wife, and to confirm he would be coming with me. On the previous Saturday, she had travelled into the heart of the county to stay overnight at Lee and Julie's house. They were renting a large property on the shores of a lake, and it was in the middle of nowhere. Ashley had not been able to text him from inside the house on the Saturday evening, as the signal was unreliable. He had suggested that they talk on the landline, but she said that they had not yet had one installed, although she had used their broadband to send him a handful of emails instead. Wynne had established a separate email account for her, since she and Peter were both able to access their home email. Wynne had had a few friends around on the Saturday night, and intermittently Ashley would email him. The flow of emails increased when she realised that he had people round at the house. She was asking what they had to eat, as she told him she had been discussing takeaways with Lee's teenage son. Apparently the son was a regular consumer of them, although Wynne did find this to be rather at odds with the house in the middle of nowhere, with no landline and an unreliable mobile signal, to be consuming takeaways on a regular basis. When Ashley had come to see him on the following Sunday morning, prior to them having a day out on the coast, she had told him that she had given Julie and Lee a long involved explanation as to why her marriage had ended. So, Wynne had said, as they stood in his kitchen prior to going out, you told them the whole story tale, did you? Of course I did. I went through absolutely everything with them. They were shocked. They had no idea. Well, I suppose they wouldn't be. Knowing what's going on, you tended not to tell people, did you? You're doing the right thing now, though. Yes, I am. They really couldn't believe what he'd done to me over the years. Julie was moved to tears, she had explained. Understandable. I told them about him forcing himself on me, too. It was hard, but I did it. Good for you, Wynne had said. That must have been hard, but it will help you deal with it. Yes, they were totally stunned. Julie said he was a monster who should be locked up. Well, he should be. I also showed them a copy of the letter that Paul is sending on Monday. Now that is going to put the cat among the pigeons. Ashley had also been to see her lawyer in the preceding week. She had dealt with the divorce petition and left it with Paul Harrison to answer. She did, however, want him to send an aggressive letter regarding Peter's assault on her and his habit of turning up at the house unannounced, early in the morning. On 2 occasions, he had let himself into the house while she was showering, and stood there watching her as she got out of the shower. The letter, which was sent to his solicitors, listed a catalogue of abusive and intrusive behaviours, and made it clear that it required Peter's undertaking that he would stay away from Ashley and not engage in this behaviour again. If he did so, the police would be involved, and an injunction restraining Peter would be sought. It's a strong letter, but I have to do it. He's not controlling me any more, Ashley had explained. What did they think of the letter? Wynne had asked. They said it was about time, and it was necessary that he was brought under control. I'm really nervous about it, but I must do it. They could see I was worried about how he would react to receiving the letter, so they suggested that I go and stay with them on Tuesday night. That's when he will get the letter. That sounds sensible. In fact, Lee is away, and Julie wanted me to go and stay with them today for a couple of weeks. She said that as a lone woman I shouldn't be living in that house alone, not when he can still get in. I agree. I have said you can come here. I know, but the problem is Amelia's school. It's a bit of a hike from your house, and quite a large one from theirs, seeing as they live out by Redmire Lake. Yes, that's true. I said I would go and stay on Tuesday night, though. Tuesday night only. He's bound to want to confront me when he sees the content of the letter, and I don't want to be there when he does so. He doesn't know that I'll be there. I told Julie I would check, and then drop her an email to confirm I'd be staying. You don't mind, do you? Not at all. I'd prefer you to be safe, and you'll be out of the way up there. Thank you. So did you tell them about us? Wynne had asked. A little bit. A little bit? What does that mean? I just mentioned you've been helping me and so on. Why? I've told you. It looks better if I've made a clean break from him. You and me can come later. It makes me feel like an afterthought, though, Wynne had complained. No, not at all. You're my rock. You know that. I couldn't do any of this without you. You know that. She had responded, and then began kissing him. He still felt that she was hiding his existence from people, and he tried to expand on this, but she had hushed him with her mouth and instructed him to make love to her. He had ended up having her in the kitchen, taking her from behind as she bent over the back of a chair. Now they were sat with a whole week together. Today they had planned to do some shopping. Wynne had agreed to purchase a new white iPhone for her, and they needed to go to the retail park and the Apple store to do that. They were going to go for lunch and then back to her house to have the front door lock changed as a further precaution to ensure that she was safe. First, they were going to buy some padlocks to put on the garden gate to stop Peter entering the garden. He had no keys for the 2 sets of French doors or the side door, but she didn't want him creeping around the rear of the property. The pop quiz had now ended, and then the next song began. "Oh, I love this song," trilled Ashley, and she pressed the button to increase the volume. "What song is it?" she asked of Wynne. He recognised it straight away. "Always a Woman," he said. "Correct. Sang by whom?" "Billy Joel." 10 points to you. Peter always said this song was about me. I think he must be right. I think it really was specifically written for me, you know. Quite a few famous songs are. "Sorry?" asked Wynne, somewhat taken aback by her comment. "Shh," said Ashley, as the song filled the car. Ashley sat, singing along to the words. Wynne knew the song, but he hadn't paid the lyrics any great attention previously. "I adore that song. It's beautiful." "And you think that song is about you?" Yes, it is." "Ashley, you must have been, 5 years old when this song came out?" "Well, Peter said it was written about me." "I think he meant it could have been written about you, not that it actually was. It's not exactly complimentary, you know." "I think it is," she answered. "He said it sums me up completely. Come on, are we going to get those locks or not?" "Sure," Wynne answered as he opened the door. Ashley did likewise and slid out of the car. "It was written in 1977, not last year," muttered Wynne quietly as he left the car. He had noticed that Ashley had something of a fascination for thinking that songs were about her, but he just put it down to a form of escapism. After all, she had to find something to hide Peter, somewhere to hide from Peter, just like she would be doing tomorrow evening.